This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Bryce Woelk, my wife Kathy. Together we own Dusty Acres Ranch. We raise Foundation Pure and Native Pure Watusi cattle. They are the breed originated from Africa. They were imported into Europe and into the United States. They came over originally to protect the breed because there was so much fighting and stuff going on in Africa that they were scared they were going to become extinct. So they were brought over to the United States, and a bunch of us have continued to cross a whole bunch of bloodlines. That's where you get all kinds of varying shapes of horn, size, color patterns. That's all a bloodline thing, genetic thing. It's not anything that you can predict necessarily. They're an amazing animal. They have a very strong survival instinct because of where they came from. So they're very protective of their calves. Sometimes you see them, they call it in a glum. Sometimes they'll have a circle, they'll have the calves in the center of them. They'll all be looking out. So they're protecting their young ones, and sometimes even some of the older ones. Male and female both have horns. And the little calves are born with the little horn nubs already. One reason we have them is we both work full time. Their calves are born very small, and they very, very seldom have calving problems. You don't have to pull calves. The breed itself is very disease tolerant. Obviously they do well in the heat because of where they came from. Their horns and their dewflap skin in front of them act as a radiator, cooling system to regulate their body temperature. They do well on less than optimal feed. They're kind of a rangy animal. They will clean up a lot of stuff that it's not necessarily prime time feed or necessarily very high quality grazing pasture. Wintertime in Kansas can be somewhat hard on them. If you can get them, typically they do okay. If you can get them under a roof so they can get out of the wet and out of the wind. Not necessarily has to be a heated barn, but you need to get them so they need some cover, because the horn, all of the blood that's in their horn can actually freeze, and it won't necessarily kill them, but it will make that horn droop, and it'll look pretty nasty, look pretty bad. They're a regular beef animal, so they can be used for meat as well. They're a lean beef. Really lean, and I call it a really red meat, dark red meat. Taste is a little bit different, but the key to that is lower heat and longer time. Don't overcook it. Don't try and overcook it, because basically there's not a lot of fat there. They can be milked. They're not a big milk producer, but their milk is really high and rich in butterfat, extremely, and that's why the calves are born really small, but they take off very fast because the milk is so rich. The breed itself is a smaller framed, smaller boned animal, so they're not as big and bulky as your regular domestic Angus and Herefords and that type of your normal breed stuff. One question we always get is, are they really mean and hard to handle? And my response is I would just as soon deal with these guys, even though they have the horns, sooner than any Angus or Hereford. Another question we get all the time is, do you have to have special trailers to haul them? No, it's amazing what they will go in. The key is you don't want too narrow a trailer. You really need a 6.5 foot trailer probably. Doesn't have to be anything other than that. So they got enough room to turn their head and maneuver. And it's amazing how many you can get in there, because they will turn their heads and adjust and move themselves around to where they can stand comfortably.